Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unboxed. So glad that you've chosen to join us. Last time we were together, I shared that leadership can be hard on several fronts. Number one, it's hard developing a plan and strategy to grow your organization. That's just difficult in and of itself, of all the variables that there are out there. Number two, it's hard finding the right team members who fit your leadership style and the culture of your organization. And the third thing that's difficult for leaders is it's hard assembling a strong, cohesive team with synergy. Really getting that synergy going, hitting on all cylinders. Leaders can sometimes develop it, but to maintain it over the long haul can be very difficult. And so the amount of pain that we are able to endure will determine the height of our leadership and the growth of our organization. When I talk about pain, and I shared this with you last time, I'm talking about your ability to tolerate pain, and discomfort, especially in others in your relationship systems. How much pain can you tolerate in others? How much discomfort, how much nagging, how much complaining can you tolerate in others before it causes emotional reactivity within you? And so today we're going to unbox the difference between the survival leader and the challenge leader. That is the difference in the way these leaders choose to take action. Stick around. I'm Dr. Robert Davis, family life educator and relationship coach, and welcome to Unboxed, a frank and straightforward conversation about relationships. We're going to talk about family, church, workplace, and all other types of relationships. Join me for the next few moments as we unbox the power and potential of relationships and help you to live your best life. All right, welcome back. Do me a favor as we get started. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification button so that you'll know when we are going live. And if you're listening to this podcast, please make sure that you check us out at www.swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org. There you can find links to our YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all of our other social media platforms, and learn tons of information about what we're doing in the community and how we're developing and building strong leaders. Okay, so there are three realities that all leaders will face, no matter who you are. There are three realities that all leaders will face. Number one, leaders will face adversity. Number two, leaders will face becoming stressed. And number three, leaders will face having to manage pressure. So leaders are going to face adversity, they're going to become stressed, and they're going to have to manage pressure. The majority of leadership pressure comes from within our organization. And I'm talking about interpersonal relationship pressures. Teams can develop new logistical systems. Teams can develop new funding systems. Teams can develop new staffing systems. What teams struggle with the most and what leaders have to really deal with the most is developing new relationship systems. The relationship system influences how effective the logistical, funding, and staffing system will operate. You can have the best logistical, you can have the best funding, you can have the best staffing system, but if the relationship system is topsy-turvy, you're going to have some serious challenges within your organization. The leader and every member of the team comes into the workplace or into the church or into the organization pre-programmed from their family of origin on how they manage themselves in relationships and how they function in relationships. The unique pre-programming, listen closely here, the unique pre-programming, say that 10 times, the unique pre-programming of each individual when combined together makes the unique relationship or culture of the organization. So you have all these different individuals from all these different backgrounds. All of them were pre-programmed from their families of origin, how they have a certain way of how they understand relationships are supposed to function. Now you bring all of them together, and when you blend them together, it makes a unique thing. It's just like mixing together herbs and spices. You can mix, three spices together and get one thing, take out one and bring something else in, you get a whole different flavor. That's how it works. And the same thing works when you bring human beings into a relationship system. Before you know it, you have a unique flavor, a unique blend, if you will. A leader, and here's the catch, a leader has to manage the relationship pressure as much as managing the logistical, funding, or staffing challenges. That's the truth. And here's the difference. This is the crux of our discussion today. Here's the difference between survival leaders and challenge leaders. As I told you before, they're all going to face the exact same things because they all are dealing with the reality that their team comes into it pre-programmed. And that makes a unique blend of herbs and spices, if you will. All right. But here's the difference between survival leaders and challenge leaders. Survival leaders take expedient actions based on emotional pressures. That's what survival leaders do. They take the most expedient actions based on emotional pressures, whereas challenge leaders take thoughtful action. They take thoughtful action. So let's talk about survival leaders for just a second. Survival leaders focus on the squeaky wheel rather than fixing the right wheel or not fixing the wheel at all to address the real problem. And this is a sign of emotional immaturity. Emotional immature people are heavily influenced. You've heard us talk about this on Unboxed. Emotionally immature people are heavily influenced by the thoughts, opinions, and discomfort of others. And they manage by alleviating the pain or by quieting the noise. Again, as I shared with you last time, the squeaky wheel is the one that gets the oil. And that's how a lot of times immature managers, or as we call them, survival managers, operates. In other words, check this out. In other words, survival leaders focus on the squeaky wheel rather than fixing the right wheel, or not addressing the wheel, or not even dealing with the wheel at all, so that they can address the real problem. And so here's the question that I want to ask you. When it comes time to make difficult decisions, how much of your decision-making time focuses on other people and their responses? As you're thinking through, how much of it are you thinking through other people and their responses? That's the thing. That's when you can put a number to that, 75% of the time, 10% of the time, 50% of the time, whatever that number is, how much of your energy is focused on what other people may think, et cetera. On the other hand, challenge leaders take thoughtful action. Now, this doesn't mean that challenge leaders don't think about how their decisions will affect others, but how others may feel has little effect on their decisions. Because I have to do what's right, and I can't control your feelings to begin with. So my thought is not about how you're going to feel, but rather my thought as a challenge leader, as a mature leader, is to figure out what is right and to do what is right and to stand on what is right, rather than trying to placate, pacify, make sure that everybody's happy, because you cannot please all the people any of the time. Let me wrap all this up now. We want to be challenge leaders who take thoughtful action. In my experience, this is just my personal experience, and I shared this with someone not too long ago, today that is. In my experience, less qualified leaders who spend more time thinking and focusing on the right decisions rather than the emotional pressure come to better conclusions than higher qualified leaders who focus more on greasing the squeaky wheel rather than thinking and focusing on fixing the entire buggy. I've experienced, my observation and my experience has been leaders who spend more time thinking actually are less qualified leaders who spend more time thinking actually get better results than higher qualified leaders who are more concerned about the emotion of the team. And so what I want to encourage you to do is to be a challenge leader who thinks about the big picture, about what is right. Now, that doesn't mean you avoid, that doesn't mean that you ignore, that doesn't mean that you just trample over people. But worrying about how other people might feel regarding your decision is considerably less important to a mature leader than coming to the right decision period. And again, we see this in Congress. We see this among our national leadership. That is, so much time and thought is spent on how do I pacify my donors, my constituents? How do I make my, my interest group, my base, as it's called, how do I make them happy versus, man, what is the right decision to make? You are a challenge leader. So you think about what's the right thing to do. And that's where your energy focuses. And that is how you unbox the power and the potential of your leadership. That is how you unbox the power and the potential of every relationship. See you next time.
Seasoned with Grace Unboxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org.